Michigan has launched a free tuition program for frontline essential workers. Unbelievable. Let me tell you the details coming up. Hey, my name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Corhorn Financial Group. Welcome to the Wise Money channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, I know we've got viewers from all across the countryside, even overseas, but listen, right just north of my office lies the great mitten of Michigan, and they came out where it's my home state. I'm born and raised in Grand Rapids. And listen, Michigan, the very first state to come out with a tuition benefit for those essential workers that were working on the front lines during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, what I'm not going to get into is whether this is justified or not. I'm saying this is a great deal, but I will give you the caveat that there is nothing that's free. So offering free tuition means someone else is paying for it. You guys understand how taxes work. The government has no money. It's just all of our money, our taxpayer money that they're getting and reallocating. But I'm not going to get into the semantics here. Let me tell you about the benefit. The Futures for Frontliners program, and it's available now. It's been passed. It's been endorsed and promoted by all sorts of businesses. So here's the deal. I'm going to get into several of the details, but there's far more details and it's just brand new. So make sure you look at the description below. There's a couple links. There's a press release, and there's also the Futures for Frontliners actual website, the actual program. So check that out as well for more details. But who is eligible? That's where we've got to start. Number one, you've got to be a Michigan resident. So you've got to be a Michigander, okay? Number two, you had to work in an essential business for at least 11 weeks out of 13 weeks during a certain period in the spring. Those details are in the link I'm going to show you. So you have to work at least 11 out of 13 weeks, and you have to be at least part-time. So they actually define that in here as half-time during that period. You have to have worked at a different location. You couldn't have worked from home during that time. And they actually say you had to spend at least some time at a work location as opposed to working from home. I'm not sure how they exactly define some time, but it can't be, well, you just worked from home for 11 out of these 13 weeks. You had to have actually worked at a business, at a location, okay? You need to make sure that you haven't already earned an associate's degree or bachelor's degree. If you already have a degree or are past an associate's degree working on a bachelor's, you do not apply, unfortunately. And you have to be in good standing with your federal student loans. You can't be in default with your federal student loans, any student loans that you have. And then finally, the final requirement is you got to fill out an actual Frontliners application, which again is on the website that you can link to. So that's it. I mean, you got to be a Michigander. You need to have worked at least half-time for 11 out of 13 weeks. Even if you change jobs, were let go or whatever, as long as you qualify 11 out of 13 weeks, at least half-time during the springtime period, then you could be eligible. You need to have not worked from home, completely during that time, and you need to not already have a degree. And if that's you, then you could get free tuition. You could get this free tuition benefit. All right, so let's get into some of the details here. What is a frontline worker, right? That's one of the requirements here is you've got to be an essential business. So what's an essential business? Well, there's a list actually in the website. We're going to show it to you right now here. But essentially, you're looking at, did you work in the food or agricultural business? Did you work in law enforcement, public safety, first responders? What about healthcare workers, public health, public works as well, transportation, logistics, even financial services. So we were actually deemed essential. We prepare taxes and that sort of stuff. I know banks were open as well. So check out that full list for whether you would be eligible, whether your job was eligible as an essential business and a frontline worker. The other detail we need to hit is about the deadlines for applying for this scholarship and when it applies, right? So the application, assuming that you're fully eligible, The application deadline is 12/31 of this year. So you have to submit this Frontline application by 12/31 of 2020 this year, again in the link below. So when's it apply? It applies, the scholarships start in 2021. But it applies to any school that's starting in 2021. So you could start with your spring semester, you could do a summer semester, you could start fall semester of 2021, but it's got to start in 2021, okay, to carry forward. The essential time period is the spring of 2020, and the scholarship's got to start in 2021. The next big question mark is, all right, well, what schools participate? And as you'd expect, it's a community college. And they've got a list here on the website, no matter where you're located in the state of Michigan, what community colleges are eligible. Here in Southwest Michigan, Lake Michigan College is the eligible institution that you would be going to for tuition free. Up in my hometown, Grand Rapids, of course, Grand Rapids Community College, GRCC. So check out the link below so that you can find out what colleges participate and plan appropriately, all right? So if you are a Michigan resident and you qualify, meaning of course you live in Michigan and you meet the other qualifying criteria, this is something that you've got to consider. Whether you agree with this idea or not, whether you think more states should do it or not, this is something you've got to consider. For most of you though, who I think this is really going to apply to is your kids and your grandkids. Okay, so I'm thinking of several clients, again, because we serve a lot of folks that live in Michigan. Our office is right here in northern Indiana. I live about a quarter mile away from the border, okay? I'm thinking of a lot of clients who maybe have had students that didn't transition directly from high school into college, or maybe took a gap year or a couple years, and essentially they were working because they needed a job. And if they were working because they needed a job, they were likely in hospitality, they were likely in food service, they were likely in some sort of part-time type of job that was probably Frontlines, right? And so I think where the majority of people are going to benefit, if they're in those years very closely connected to high school and college. And again, you can't have already had an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. And so if you started school and just didn't finish, or you were taking a gap year, and so for your kids, your grandkids, if that applies to them, they've got to check this out, because as you know, college expenses are just continuing to rise. I would check into this as a great benefit. There's about $24 million available through the state's education fund. It's estimated even 625,000 people could benefit from this program. So big deal. And then finally, I would just mention one of the other requirements is you have to have a high school diploma. And if you don't have a high school diploma, but otherwise you could be eligible, still check out the website. There's a way through the Frontlines Foundation or the Frontlines program to actually get that high school program and get that completed as well, so that you can then apply for this benefit. So check that out. That's your next wise step for today. Check that out. If you live in Michigan or have a family member that might be eligible for this system, college is obviously outrageously expensive, so check this out, see if it can help you out. Talk to your certified financial planner. If you have any questions, you can always call us if you have any questions about this program. Very new, so if you have questions, check out the links below, but you can always contact us if you have any questions. Find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, or also wisemoneyshow.com, or you can send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.